At what point does a child, or should you encourage your child to start reading? It's a very nuanced question because each child is different, so I don't want to give a blanket answer. But one thing I can say is that for children, learning starts before they're even born. Them being able to read starts before they're even born. How can that be, you say? How can that be possible that a child starts learning to read before they're even born? Well, I would say that they start learning to read before they're born when you as a parent start reading to the child as the child's in the womb. The child can hear sounds in the womb, and so it becomes imperative then for parents to be reading to their children before their children are even born, before their child is even born. It's really important that the frequencies, the sounds, the pattern of life is established before the child even comes out. And so as the child then is born, reading to the child before they can even understand what is being read is incredibly important. Nobody lives on an island by themselves and learns how to speak a language. It just doesn't happen. A child hears the sound and mimics the sounds. Sounds are then mimicked, which are blended into words. Words are then put together and built into sentences. Sentences are then put together and built into thoughts. Thoughts are then put together and form paragraphs. Without that, it's impossible. It's impossible for a child to grow and learn how to read, to understand, to comprehend. It all comes from repetition, 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 day in, day out. They have to start doing those reps. It's like when you haven't been to the gym for a long time, or if you haven't ever been to a gym. The first time you go, you cannot expect to go to the gym and just be like benching 100 kg the first time you go to a gym. It's just arrogant to think that. In the same way, it'd be arrogant to think that, oh yes, my child started reading at this age. This is when we're going to start teaching them how to read. No, you teach them how to read from now, from before they're even born, and then when they're born, you read to them. Reading is something that if you are not passionate about yourselves, you cannot expect your children to want to read. I know some parents I was teaching in school, and some parents would get annoyed that their children were not progressing in English. Some of these people were born in this country and in the UK, and they would be upset that their children could not read. Yet what was their level of reading themselves? Do they have a high level of reading? No, yet they expect their children to. How do you expect the child to want to aspire to do something that you haven't even done yourself? It's foolishness. And so I would encourage you, if you want to encourage your child to be a reader yourself. Be a reader yourself. Get a book, get a library card. They're free. There's plenty of libraries all around the UK and all around most of the Western world. This is who I'm speaking to right now. And even if you can't get to a library, find somebody who has a book and start reading. Even if you just read the newspaper. If you don't have a newspaper, because we're in the 21st century, on your phone, read articles. Read articles, read them, talk about them, think about them. This is how we grow. This is how we learn to read, through comprehension.